The Marching Roundtable is proud to be an official media partner of Drum Corps International.
This podcast is brought to you by Envision 3D Drill Design Software, found at box5software.com. Envision 3D Drill Design Software is the only true 3D drill design software available for marching bands, winter guards, indoor percussion groups, and drum corps. If you write drill or design for marching music groups, Envision enables you to plan and execute shows that push the creative boundaries of your show designs. Download your free version at www.box5software.com and see for yourself. Hi, this is your host, Tim Hinton. It was a great year for Drum Corps, and I enjoyed talking with DCI fans all throughout the weekend in Indy. Thanks to everyone who said hello to me. It was great to meet so many podcast fans, including a man from Japan who said hello on Friday night. On this podcast, I share a series of short conversations where I asked everyone what their favorite show was, or some moment in the show that they really enjoyed. By the way, we hope you'll join fun conversations like these on our new Marching Roundtable Facebook group. Thanks to everyone who talked to me in Indy. Here's a few of those conversations. Hey, this is Tim, and it's early on Friday morning, and I am down in the bowels of Lucas Oil, I don't know where, and I'm talking to
Jase Conyers.
And he's wearing a Blue Stars shirt, so clearly I'm not going to ask you about the Blue Stars, because I know they're your favorite. And by the way, fantastic season. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
What do you do with the Corps?
I'm the assistant brass caption head.
They're playing their butts off. Or should I say they're playing their hammers and nails off? What would be the right way to say this? They're constructing a great show. Okay, you've heard all of those puns. I just don't even need to try.
Yeah, it's been a season of puns in some manner.
In a fun way, though.
Yeah, it's a really fun show. The kids are really enjoying the show. They're performing super, super well, and we're really pleased with where we are.
Okay, so clearly Blue Stars are going to be your favorite group of the season because you're working with them, you're doing a great job. But is there another show or another corps, a moment in another show that you really are appreciating this year?
Man, there's so much great stuff happening in the activity. It's hard to nail it down to one or two things. I remember in Atlanta, I snuck back in and sat with my parents and watched the last couple of groups. I watched Crown, I watched Vanguard. I thought that they were absolutely fantastic, and have to love the energy at the end of Vanguard's show.
Okay, so tell me more about that. Clearly, that's happening. How do you think they're accomplishing that? Like, what do you love about that?
It's just so high-paced, and then so many groups are doing that right now. Just super high-paced ending with just tons of energy. The musical product is just out of this world. So it's nice to see that. Personally, I have a soft spot for mellophones because I also teach a good bit of mellophone at the Blue Stars, and there's some cool moments in that.
Are you a horn player?
I'm actually a trumpet player, but I marched mellophone back in the day, and
that's happening a lot these days.
Yeah.
Because I'm a horn player, so you know. But I know that now the mellophone parts are high and trumpety very often.
Yeah, and at the Blue Stars we've got a mix of trumpet players and mellophone players and such, and just some great kids filling out that section.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for talking to me, and again, congratulations for the Blue Star season.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim.
And okay, so I'm talking to Greg Mills, CSJA Poobah, Grand Poobah, one of the big gurus. Anyway, so what's one of the corps that you're liking this year, and why?
Well, it's like we talked before. There's so many great corps. I really am impressed with Santa Clara. I think they're doing some unique, new kinds of things visually. And Michael Gaines is, being Michael Gaines again.
Yeah, right.
And just, I'm astounded at what they're doing. I was knocked out with the mellophone section last night. I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I was like, it's thrilling.
They're just playing so amazing.
Yeah, the performance level's so high in all their elements of their show.
Yeah, and it's like incredibly complicated, but it doesn't hurt your head to watch it. Somehow it's so logical.
It is. It's very logical. It's entertaining. They keep you interested. They make you say wow a lot. What else do you want?
That's what we want in a show.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to me.
You're welcome.
Hey, so this is Tim. It's Saturday morning, and I have just met this wonderful man. Your name, sir?
Wes Neill.
And you're a retired band director?
A retired band director, yes.
Okay, so we're talking about the long career you've had and all that you've learned from DCI and watching marching band tapes and things. So
I won't try to recap that whole great conversation, but why are you here at DCI?
Well, through the years, I always missed the finals at DCI because it was the day of band camp.
Could never come.
Or the week of band camp. And
right.
So now that I'm retired, I don't miss it. I get to come up here every year and see it. And
it's fantastic.
And my ideas from DCI can go way beyond what they did in shows, because I got so hooked in watching what they did with the kids. I would actually go to their practices when I'd find
Smart.
and I'd have to travel overnight and stuff like that to find a contest in those days.
Yeah.
And so I would watch them warm up, watch them practice, and everybody always said how big a sound our band had, and I told them that I watched the DCI kids warm up, and they would run 2 miles before practice and 2 miles after practice.
Wow.
And so I explained to my kids at band camp that we're going to start running 2 miles before camp and 2 miles after camp, and they almost...
But it worked.
It worked, because I told them, I said, no, we're going to run a couple of blocks today and then a couple of blocks more tomorrow, and we'll keep adding on and on until we get up there. But it made such a big sound,
because they've got that air they can breathe.
Right. We would compete against bands 350 size, and we only were around 125, and we'd blow them right off the field.
And what school was this where you taught?
Roger Bacon High School in Cincinnati.
Fantastic. And you were there how many years?
44.
That's wonderful. Wow. So you're here at DCI, and you come every year. So do you have a favorite show or any favorite things you're seeing on the field this year?
Well, my favorite show was when Madison did City of Angels, which is several years ago.
Those were great. Yeah.
And I got to know some of the guys. Scott Borma was so great. I got to meet him several years ago because, again, I couldn't come to here, so I'd go up to DeKalb, Illinois for the Midwest.
Oh, I marched in DeKalb. I marched in the Phantom Regiment years ago, and so I know we're all about DeKalb, yeah.
So I went up there one year, and I got lucky and met him, and I asked him if what the possibilities would be at some of his arrangements. And Scott is a high school band director himself, and he said, well, he gave me a figure that he would sell the arrangement to me for after the scouts had used it, of course, and plus the idea that if the arrangement was good enough that he could use it for his own high school band, and if the arrangement wasn't good, I couldn't use it and he wouldn't sell it to me. And the first one we got was Slaughter on 10th Avenue.
Wow.
And he came into town, rehearsed the band, and said, I'm not charging anything. All I want is the arrangement and so forth. And from there on in, we got City of Angels, and he was so gracious and so, and so was Madison, because we would go there and watch. That they were the ones that I got the idea of running before practice and after practice, and their warm-up techniques and stuff like that. And so I had taken what I learned on the field to another level by going, well, if they can do this on the field, let's find out how they got on the field to start with.
Well, you were smart enough to go and pay attention and learn, which is something I'm always telling young directors, like, just do what you're doing. You spend a lot of time figuring things out. So you loved the City of Angels show that Madison did, and then you got to do it with your own band.
Well, see, I don't know about the other guys, but I went to the College Conservatory of Music in Cincinnati, and they were raising me to be a great conductor.
Right.
And so forth. But there's nothing about field, and when you get a high school band, the first thing you got to do is football games.
Right.
And they don't teach you anything about that, how to music and, and so forth. And so I was lucky right out of the conservatory to get a high school job.
Yeah.
And so consequently, I was looking for ideas how to do this. And DCI just was there.
There it was.
And that's where I started getting all my rehearsal techniques, all my field techniques, all my basics, Yeah. I remember band directors coming over to watch our practice, and the kids are going 8 to the 5 up and down the field. And what the hell are you doing? And I said, they're learning 8 to the 5. Well, what? That doesn't make sense. I said, yeah, but if they learn 8 to the 5, they'll get so used to it when they're out in the field, they'll do 8 to the 5, even when there are no yard lines there.
Yeah.
And then we can learn to lengthen and slow them for going from formation stuff. But I learned all that from DCI and from the corps.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So this weekend, have you seen some shows already? Did you go last night?
I was there last night, yeah.
So did you have a favorite group this year, or any certain things you like?
Each year I say there's one and it's always the one that's not going to win.
Well, that's sure, but that's my point. Is you can love
music,
whatever.
or I like the particular drill.
Right.
Usually, I like the combination of everything and so forth. Some have great music, some have great drill. I look for the the full package. But this year, there are so many good ones.
Exactly.
I could not pick anybody out last night. I know when all of a sudden I started seeing drill that really moved, because we got there early to watch, and some of them, was a combination of everything you've seen before. But as I started watching, and we were getting into the top, 13, 14, something like that, all of a sudden I started seeing different things, and the further up you got, the better the shows got. And I don't remember a year the shows being so close and
I agree,
so great,
I agree with you completely. It's such a wonderful year. But what's something that was memorable to you? Like, is there a moment in a certain show that you remember last night that you thought, wow?
The ending of Santa Clara, of course, when they get up on the, and they pull out the risers, and they're up there, of course, and that grabs the. When you write a show, you always want to make sure the last biggest thing is what you leave on the field and so forth. And and of course you're sitting there thinking, what are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? Right. I remember when we won the National Cherry Festival in Traverse City, Michigan. We competed up there, and we won the international contest up there 4 times.
Congratulations.
And we got to march in Super Bowl 16 because of that. We got invited. But at any rate, I was looking for a show, and I kept taking bits and pieces and looking and I couldn't find the ending until finally I was watching DCI. By that time, they actually had DCI tapes.
Right.
You could buy them.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do like they did at the end. And I remember one of the judges at the meeting after the judge said, I kept watching your show, and I kept watching your show, and it kept watching, and it kept building, and it kept building, and it kept building. And he says, my God, how are they going to end this thing? And he says at the end, I thought Jesus Christ is going to come out of that thing. He said, because he said that it was such a,
where could you go?
It was just, and I got those ideas from DCI. I can't see how any band director could do anything on the field without getting ideas from DCI.
I agree.
And on top of that, Dan Anscherson went to our school. He was never in band. He was in drum and bugle corps, and I didn't know this. But
he was a student.
He graduated from Roger Bacon. The same school I was at.
What a coincidence!
Yeah.
So you know each other, I would assume.
We do now. We didn't then, because he was in the Queen City Cadets, which is up. And
he wasn't in your band?
No, he was a drum and bugle corps guy all the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's been so wonderful to talk to you. Thanks for stopping your morning to have this conversation with me. And it's an honor to meet you. A wonderful educator, clearly. So thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, this is Tim. It is Saturday morning. We're at Soundsport Drumline Battle. I ran into someone I really like and admire, Jerome Horne. How are you?
I'm doing well, Tim.
So I was going to ask you about some of your favorite shows of the year, and the first one I'm going to guess you're wearing Santa Clara shirt, so you must love the Santa Clara show.
Oh, absolutely.
As the sirens go by. That's all right. We're in the middle of an exciting city here. All right. So why? Obviously, you love Santa Clara. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, I love the show. I think because, one, just the whole production value is very high, and I think it all is stitched together very well. It seems like transitions are really well thought out, and it's just one cohesive thought from beginning to end that tells a story. And I really love their use of their props are really, really well utilized, because they not only do they move the props around the field, but they use the props to create different levels while they're performing. Right. And I think that is a really effective use of those props. And then just the brass line, I think they're phenomenal. Yeah. And just musically, visually, it's all really, really solid. So
yeah, you know what's so amazing is that you don't really even see the props move. You know what I mean? Like you don't see the mechanics of it. It just happens. And that's so hard.
Right. It's just done so well. You can tell that there was a lot of really careful thought into how do we make this seamless and blend and they really are executing very well.
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous. Like, it's just an amazing production. All right, so who else? Let's talk about some other shows that you like too. So, like, who else are you enjoying?
Yeah, so Mandarins.
Me too.
Really love the Mandarins. I think the design is also another show that's just designed really well, and the kids are really performing. That circular stage that they use that rotates, I think that it's a really cool prop in the middle of the field, and I think they utilize it really, really well.
Yeah, no doubt. And they took a lot of chances, you know, but I think they all sort of paid off. My favorite part of that show is when the girls dancing at the beginning, and they're like, they just make you wait.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's so effective.
Yes.
Like, we're watching her dance, and they're making their point, and everything's just sort of basically still. And I'm like, I told them I think it was so ballsy, you know, but it totally works. So, all right, so guys, I love them too. Somebody else you want to mention?
Yeah, Blue Coats Session 44. Really dig that show as well. Love all the jazziness. My favorite part of the show is probably the singer and the tuba player are just going and having this really great moment. I just think that's really, really well done. But the whole show, you know, as a whole is really enjoyable. Definitely, good general effect and gets the crowd energized.
Yeah, I love them too. Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to me. It's a good year for drum corps, isn't it?
It's a great year for drum corps.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's nobody that's not enjoyable and fun and executing at an amazing level, all the way up and down all the ranks.
And there is one more corps I'd like to give a shout out to, and that's Music City. I think Music City, their first year in world class, they've come out and, you know, really creative show concept, pretty entertaining, and, you know, I think for first year in world class, they're doing really well. They've come out really strong, and I look forward to seeing what that corps will do in the future.
Yeah, and you know what's amazing about them is everybody's talking about them. You know what I mean? Like, that's an accomplishment.
Yes. Oh,
you know, we're all talking about that show. I mean, I had a friend that went to a show earlier in the summer, and she was like, "Who did you like?" And she's like, "Wow, Music City was amazing. Like, nobody saw that coming," kind of thing.
And, you know, it's great. Even if you don't know the background story of Casey Jones, you know it's about something about trains, and you can you can follow along. So
yeah, and they've been like a crowd favorite all summer. So really well done. Thanks for mentioning them. Thanks for talking to me, Jerome. You're awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Always enjoy it.
Hey, I'm Tim. It's Saturday morning. I'm at Sound Sport, and I'm talking to
Carl Dieffenbach.
And Carl, you've been a judge, you just said, for the last few years?
Yep.
Well, for a long time you've been a judge.
Well,
but
I did DCI for a few years.
But you're not judging DCI this year, so you can talk to me about who you might like. So tell me, what's one of the corps you like?
I thought Colts did really great yesterday.
They jumped. They had a great show.
Yeah, they had a great show. I thought Boston was phenomenal. I'm a huge Santa Clara Vanguard fan this year. I mean, of course, like a gazillion other people.
There's a lot to like.
Fantastic. Oh, man, just, you know, it's a great year. I mean, the whole top 12.
Actually, the whole top 20. I mean, they're so deep.
I mean, I watched semifinals, and I was here for a good part of the prelims. And those A-class, this is the first show I saw this year, so I didn't see any live drum corps until this weekend. So it was all an eye-opening.
Yeah.
I mean, the open class corps are phenomenal. Then you get into the big corps.
So tell me something specific. Is there a moment in a show that you're like, I'm always going to remember this moment in DCI 2018?
Never forget Santa Clara Vanguard's ballad.
Yeah,
ever.
Really.
The baritone solo is incredible. The tone quality that he has on the one side, and then when they switch from side one to side two,
it's so amazing. Satisfying the way they bring the props. Well, that's at the end they bring the props together.
Yeah.
But the way, it's just the way that's staged is so satisfying. All right, so another one. One more. I'm going to make you make one more moment in the show.
So let's talk about the closer of Boston when they do that big phenomenal ending, and then you think it's over and the crowd's on their feet, and then they kind of manipulate back over to side two, and then the next thing you know, the whole score's gone. And it's, BAS was here on the field. Phenomenal. I mean, just a night entertainment. It's all about that entertainment thing for me. So
it's so funny you say that, because I was sitting with a friend of mine yesterday, and that's exactly what she said. Was Boston finished, and she said that was so entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great drum corps.
Yes. Yeah.
But how could you not have a good time?
Right. No, and I favor that. I favor the entertainment over the analytical. So if I'm entertained and I'm standing up, I mean, in Santa Clara Vanguard, a minute's left in their show and everybody's on their feet.
Right.
I loved being in the audience for that.
Right.
And
I can only imagine tonight.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Because, how many standing ovations are they going to get in the middle of their show tonight? This is what I'm wondering. Well, because we all stood up for the last minute of their show last night.
How about Cadets yesterday? yesterday, blowing the doors off the wall.
Yes.
I mean, it was, I felt bad for Cabbies having to follow Cadets, or Boston, having to follow Boston. Cabbies had to follow Boston last night.
Well, there were a number of times where somebody was super on, and you're like, oh no, who's got to follow?
Yeah.
Because there were some cores that were really on. I thought Mandarins were super on last night. I thought Boston was super on. But you're right, Cadets, bless their hearts, they have something to prove, and they're doing it.
See, I don't think they do have anything to prove. They're the Cadets.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
you're right.
But they're not letting things affect them. They're getting out there and they're performing a show, and they're doing their thing, and they're doing a heck of a job. And the kids, I'll tell you what, the kids are still getting, they're getting quality education. They're getting a quality experience on the road, and they're performing at a high level, and they're entertaining audiences, and they get to stand on that field and listen to the crowd go crazy.
Well, I love that you mentioned that, because we don't tend to talk about the level of instruction that these performers are getting, but we're talking about how great they are and how do they get there. I mean, they're super talented kids. Sorry I called them kids, but they are to me. But the level of instruction that they're getting on a daily basis is amazing.
All of these staffs are so good. I mean, I don't know them all. I mean, I'm not a staff guru. I don't look up their pages and see who's on staff. but you can tell the groups that are truly trained really well. And I mean, even from the A-class course up to the world class. I mean, you're just sitting there going, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teaching going on, and I appreciate all those people giving their time and doing that.
They're not doing it for money. Not all of them.
Money? There's money in drum corps? Come on.
That's why we all do marching band, right?
Well, thank you for talking to me. It was great.
Thank you, Tim.
Hey, this is Tim. It's Saturday afternoon, and I'm sitting at P.F. Chang, and I ran across the table a very smart, knowledgeable, instructional, musical types that are watching DCI shows, and I'm going to ask them their opinion. So first I'll just ask everybody, say who you are and sort of where you are, what you do real quick.
I'm Brian Taylor. I'm from Atlanta, and I'm a freelance drill designer and judge and all kinds of pageantry things.
Yeah, great judge. Find him at
btdesignconcepts@gmail.com.
All right, next.
I'm Ricardo Robinson Sanal. I am from Florida. I am a color guard director and a high school teacher.
Ricardo, you've been on the podcast before, as has Brian. All right, as has Brian. Okay, going on around the table.
Hi, I'm James Cork, and I'm one of the assistant band directors at Lafayette High School in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Great band. I was there last year as a guest judge. Well, what was I? I was a celebrity spokesperson. No, that wasn't it. But I had a great time there. What a great band that is. And also at the table,
I'm Jason Finch from Mobile, Alabama, and I'm just a super fan.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys, if you have a favorite show that you want to name, tell me what it is and why. Or you can just anything in any show that you like. It doesn't have to be your favorite.
This is loaded.
So
very loaded. Can I give a preference first? Can I give a
Okay, Ricardo, you go first then. Sure.
I have to first say that everybody is good this year.
Amen.
Absolutely. This is one of the best years of drum corps that I have seen in my 20 years in the activity. But
So first off, we all agree everybody's great.
Everybody's great.
So I'm not asking you to pick favorites, but I'm asking you to pick favorites. I'm asking you, let's talk about something you like, something that you're impressed with. How's that?
I'm gonna pick three from three different neighborhoods.
Okay, go right ahead.
Santa Clara, Boston, and Mandarins.
Okay.
All three of them bring something very unique to the table this year. And the performance quality matches what they bring design-wise. It's just, each of those shows seemed like they were like 4 minutes long. I wanted more and more and more of it.
Yeah. Any specific moment that you know you're always going to remember from one of those shows?
Mellophone.
What'd you say? I forgot your name already. Jason. Oh my God, sorry. Jason, what were you saying?
Oh, I always remember the magic trick at the end of Boston Crusaders, where everyone just disappears.
It's amazing.
Yes, fantastic.
You know, when I talked to those guys, they said they wanted to put that in for San Antonio, but it was so windy, they could never practice it. So they waited and did it in Atlanta for the first time, which I thought was really interesting. So, thank you. So, Jason, somebody memorable that you liked this year? Anything about a show that you want to mention that you thought was really good?
I don't know any other specifics that really jump out.
Anybody that you like. Who are you looking forward to seeing again tonight?
I'm looking forward to seeing the Blue Stars again. I enjoyed that show a lot, and Boston, of course.
What do you like about the Blue Star show?
It's hard to put my finger on it. It just stuck with me.
You remembered it.
I remember. That's it.
That's good.
In a field of amazing performances, I remember the show. So.
Are you like a construction guy?
I mean, yeah, I do work in the construction industry.
Do you really?
Yes.
That's fascinating. So I wondered if that would be like a tie-in. Do you have like those yellow shoes and gloves at home?
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
So you really did connect with this.
He's a little biased.
Is he really telling the truth? He really did?
He works in HR. Don't be fooled.
Oh.
For a construction company.
He still works in construction.
There's a hard hat in my truck right now, so I mean, you got it.
Next, let's go on around the table.
All right, this is James. I think for me, I have not seen anything live yet, but in the theaters, I did see some great stuff. And the Blues albums, for me, that's my favorite so far. I think anyone that can pull off Aretha Franklin, When a Man Loves a Woman, Natural Woman, that's a long time ago show, but Natural Woman is a phenomenal piece right now. So I like the Blue Devils storytelling. So they're masters at that. So I'm really excited to see it live tonight. So.
Yeah, they're wonderful. You know, when I talked to Scott, he said the girls wear those those man's shirts things. He said they've been really popular.
I thought they were house coats. I thought they were in there just dancing around in their house coat.
No, it's like a man's shirt, but they had to fix the sleeves so their arms, they could move their arms.
I took a completely different approach for it. I thought that they were dancing around in house coats, honey, and they came out of them and they were feeling like a natural woman. Too. That was what I took from it, and I loved it.
Yeah. Stunning show.
So that's probably the one you're most excited about seeing?
Excited. Can't wait.
Awesome. Okay, Ricardo.
So I have so many moments, but I'm going to give a shout out to the home team, the Cavaliers.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant show. Complete serious drum corps, for the first part of it. And then the very last moment before we leave the show, they give us that humorous moment with the guys coming out in the dresses and the skirts. And it's just... It's hilarious. It's so much fun, and it's so bright and refreshing to have that seriousness at first, and then all of a sudden we get this little moment of humor at the end, and that's your last note. So I thought that was completely clever. So all of my friends over there, thank you.
It's sort of like let your true self out, be colorful, don't be whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, and actually they talked about how they let each of the core members during that segment sort of interpret that for themselves. Oh, wow. So if you watch them, all those guard guys in those skirts aren't even doing the same thing necessarily. They give them latitude to express their own. So some of them are sort of shying back, some of them are being really big, and the core too. So watch for that tonight. It's really cool.
I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah. It's such a great moment.
It's fun.
It's really fun. There are just so many, because you sit here and think there's just so many individual moments, as always. Crown is playing and they do something, you're like, you're not supposed to be able to do that. And they do it.
Yeah.
And then just top to bottom. I mean, I had a major moment with like Troopers. Yeah. I mean, and it's just slammed packed with quality all the way down.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good instruction going on. I mean, you guys all instruct, and there's a lot of they're being taught really well because of the level of execution. Okay, so anybody else, any other corps you guys want to mention before I leave you to have lunch?
I don't know what the people at Santa Clara did, but you need to keep doing it. And I want it in my life every day.
Yeah.
I posted on my Facebook page a little video that someone made online. And it was like all these cartoon images watching the final moments of the show.
Yes, it was great.
And that literally was my life when I saw it live for the first time a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Last night, I was on the edge of my seat, like grasping the rail, about to jump over because it was so exciting. The whole show. So, bravo, kudos to all those guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm wondering how many standing ovations they're going to get tonight in the middle of their show because, like a lot of people stood up at that ballad moment.
That ballad, the soloists, soloists are so amazing and there's just moment after moment, just great, just fantastic. And J.D. Shaw wrote a great book, and Chip is doing a great job with the horn line. It's just
a lot of home runs.
I feel bad for whoever's sitting behind me because I'll probably be up the entire time.
Yeah. Well, we're all going to be standing. I mean, we all stood for the last minute of it anyway yesterday.
I couldn't hear the end of their show because there was so much applause. You know,
James, you had more
to see. I'm excited to see Michael Townsend's group with the Boston Crusaders, the color art. So I haven't seen them live yet, and so
they are ridiculous.
I'm really, really excited to see that. So.
Ridiculously gorgeous. The way those kids move and the way they interpret that show, I mean, they completely bring it to life. I feel like I'm on an island and I'm ready to try to get off. I'm sending out my SOS. I'm with them. I'm with them from start to finish of that show.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a guard just the level of
poise and confidence are two things that come to mind when I think about it.
But they'll just do like a two-turn down the line like it's nothing and move on with life.
Two-turn. They're like, I just did that. It's fine.
It's like, no big deal.
Oh, I just caught this with one hand and it was great. Yeah, I just did. It's just Thursday.
They're powerful. All right. Anything else before I go? Anybody wants to say? Looking forward to tonight.
Cannot wait to see all the shows.
Cannot wait.
Absolutely.
Living for it.
Can't wait. It's like the Super Bowl for band nerds right now. Like I am just.
I had a friend say that to me. This is your Super Bowl, right? And I'm like, yeah.
It is.
This and the Oscars.
Super Bowl and the Oscars put together.
Okay, right. And the Tonys.
And throw a little Emmy in there too.
And some Olympics too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Okay, it's Tim. It's Saturday night. This is the big moment, the big kahuna, it's all happening. I'm in the Subi area. Before the show, I'm talking to
Justin Bainter.
Thank you so much for saying hello and stopping by. So let's talk about what's one of the shows you're going to really look forward to seeing tonight.
The one I waited the longest to see on YouTube and was the most happy with was Boston Crusaders. Leon May did a fantastic job with the design, the words in the right place, the fire. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah, I love it too. So what's your favorite moment in the show then?
The one that I had to go back and realize what was going on was the very ending of the show. After the found, when they do the tag, they have the BAC, and I was like, okay, back to what? Oh, wait, Boston area Crusaders were here. It's a fantastic ending.
Yeah, they definitely get my BAC, and not everybody knows that, so it's great you figured that out. Very cool. So, yeah, that's a wonderful show. Who else? I guess you were here last night.
I was not.
Oh, okay, so it's your first night of live drum corps today.
Yep.
Okay, well, who else are you looking forward to?
Always looking forward to Blue Coats. I like the individualized uniforms. I like the concept of before and during and after a performance. I think it's a really cool show. And then Blue Devils is always innovative. The show is really fantastic. Getting up on the props and all the framing stuff that they do is really, really cool.
Yeah, great. And I have to mention that you're wearing a very cool shirt.
Yes.
So are you a Madison alum?
I am. I marched 99 and 2000.
Fantastic. And you're wearing this very cool, I'm a Superman fan, and you have like a Superman logo with the fleur-de-lis inside.
Yes.
This is very cool. Do they sell these or did you make this?
My mom found it in New Orleans and decided I had to have it. So
it's too perfect.
Yes.
Mom, shout out to Mom. She gets all the credit.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for saying hello. Thanks for listening to the podcast. It's great to see you.
And thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Hey, I'm Tim. I'm in the Subi area. I'm talking to a Boston alum and actually somebody that's working with a band I'm working with. Your name?
Oscar Escobar.
Oscar, it's awesome to see you here tonight. So you're obviously just a Boston alum, so you're loving the Boston show. We'll just start there.
Absolutely. From the moment, from the moment they started, it's been what a journey. Just the design of the show, the energy the kids are putting out. It's amazing. As an alumni, you just you stand and wonder in awe of what they're doing, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so absolutely, it's such a wonderful show. It's so entertaining. Everybody's loving it. Okay, so other shows that you like? Is there other things that you've enjoyed that you've seen?
I got to be really honest. This is probably my first year that I've liked a lot of the shows from prelims. I was very hesitant with seeing some of the shows and some of the concepts, like for example with the Madison Scouts. Not watching it, but hearing the concept, I was like, but I watched it. I fell in love with that show.
Great.
What an amazing moment with the heart and the soul, and it just showed such emotion in the show. Cool. I thought it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, and I've been a fan of Madison Scouts for a long time. So
right, we all love the Scouts. Absolutely. Any other shows that you especially enjoy?
Let's see.
You don't have to keep naming any. I'm just in case you had any more you wanted to mention.
Yeah, Vanguard. We have, of
course.
I'm a mellophone player.
Oh, me too! Yay!
Wonderful.
Okay, well, how can you not enjoy that?
How can you not enjoy that?
Yeah.
Well, I had my rookie year at Boston. I had the privilege of having J.D. Shaw as our mellophone tech. So we followed JD from the moment we started drum corps to now. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some good lineage right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, listen, I can honestly say JD, between the staff at Boston and JD Shaw and all my directors, they've made me the musician that I am today. So it's been an unbelievable journey.
Congratulations. Well, thanks for talking to me.
Hey, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing Boston tonight too.
Me too.
All right. Thank you.
Watch for many more podcasts about this year's DCI season, including a series of conversations with 10 of the design staffs of top drum corps. And you can watch video versions of those interviews right now for free at marchingartseducation.com. And I hope you enjoyed the DCI wrap-up podcast I recorded with the hilarious John Bogenschutz of Tone Deaf Comics. And if you enjoyed that conversation, you can hear 5 more shorter podcast conversations that he and I recorded about the DCI season, available only to supporters of the Marching Roundtable and Tone Deaf Comics on Patreon. If you give just as little as $2 a month to help us out, you can hear those special podcasts at patreon.com. Just search for the Marching Roundtable or Tone Deaf Comics at patreon.com. We encourage you to follow the Marching Roundtable on social media to keep up with upcoming podcasts and guests, and for constant coverage of all topics going on in the marching arts. This includes the new Marching Roundtable Facebook group, which I think you'll really enjoy. And get our bi-weekly newsletter by signing up at marchingroundtable.com. Thanks again to the sponsor of this podcast, Envision 3D Drill Design Software, found at box5software.com. Thanks to everybody who said hello in Indy, and especially to those I spoke with on this podcast. This is your host, Tim Hinton. See all of the services I offer at my website at timhinton.com. These services include music for marching groups, drill writing services, show consultation, podcasts, webinars, video instruction, and coursework. Find all of that at timhinton.com.